All right, there we are. Hello, folks. We're still waiting for a couple people to arrive because, God forbid, anyone should ever be on time. But we had stuff we needed to do between games, didn't we?
No, not quite. After the beginning of this game, we're going to do a short intro when everyone gets here.
Okay.
To sort of wrap up the last game. And then we're going to have a couple days of downtime for you folks to do other things for your characters.
All right.
And so we can jump ahead to some of the downtime since that's sort of individualistic and handle some of that before we do the wrap-up from last game.
I think that's fine.
But let me just do a quick recap about what did happen last game so that everyone remembers. Yeah. So last game, you all enjoyed individually and together in small groups a night on the town. You know, it was one typical day for you. It was after a performance. But you were going about your life, and you, for some reason or another, brought to this tavern called the Righteous Pit.
The Righteous Pit?
That's right.
All right. And
the Righteous Pit is no more, because during the night there was an attack, and you don't remember, you were too drunk, unfortunately. There was an attack by the Gruul, and they destroyed several blocks of the city and caused a collapse of the city center into the rubble belt. You woke up, some of you more injured than others, and the tavern had mostly held together, but parts of it had collapsed. There was a few other people in there, and you saw several Gruul either had you captive, several Gruul goblins, and they were one by one dragging people away to eat them, including a Loxodon as you watched. However, you did manage to escape from them. Vola quickly took out the goblins, crushing them with her hooves.
Goblin Crusher.
And then you managed to escape, fleeing into a cave that had been opened by the collapsed city center, and found this ancient-looking elven sort of neighborhood of the city center that no one knew existed. You also rescued two NPCs. One was named Surya, she was an alchemist, and one was named Javik, and he was a Golgari. You didn't really know much about him, he didn't talk much.
Was he the one, wasn't there one that we threw around was trying to lead us out?
Yeah, there was one guy, he promised he could lead you out, and sort of failed to do so.
He was a liar, yes.
Yeah, he was a liar, didn't know where he was going.
And he sort of disappeared while you all were searching the city.
I'll kill him later.
Okay. Good. It's good to have goals.
Alrighty
and then you managed to enter like a large sort of open cavern, and there was like a shaft of light above you, and that's where the pit from the Righteous Pit had been. It was an endless pit that no one actually knew where it went. Well, you found where it went. There was like a pile of bodies and debris from things that have been thrown in there over the years. But that is when the Gruul who were chasing after you caught up with you, and you fought them, slew many a goblin, a minotaur, a manka cat, and a few other things, until basically you drove them off. Well, you killed the first wave, but then a second wave was coming at you. And then basically you saw that the Azorius arresters and several forces were coming in from the hole, and they basically took control of the situation and drove out the Gruul. So that was the end of the last game. So I want to go back to that when everyone gets here, but after that, after you sort of wrap up the situation, you're going to, and it's not dangerous, but you're going to have about 2 days of downtime. So, why don't we just do a quick introduction for the people who are here. We developed fun taglines for everybody, so I'll just go through them, starting at this end. You didn't actually give me one, so I'm going to use the one that I developed, and you can change it.
By all means, if I have problems with it, I'll change it as we go.
Blood on his fangs and holy light in his eyes. It's Lucius Markov, Orzhov, Vampire Paladin, played by Seth Polanski.
Oh, the most vampire that ever vampired a vampire.
Are we using our names?
I don't care. I'll use
No.
mine. We'll do Val for Val.
You're not. Okay. Well, I can change these then.
That's okay.
Okay. And anyone else not want to?
What was I using before? I don't remember.
I don't either. Do you want to use your name? No.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah, just later.
Okay.
Let's just go with first names.
Sounds good.
There are far worse things to find about me on the internet.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. there's a lot worse things on the internet than my real name.
Okay.
First name's totally fine.
And for Vola, we have Vibrating with Barely Restrained Rage. It's Vola, the Goblin Crusher, Centaur Barbarian, played by Kelly.
Woo!
Nice.
And over here we have... Well, you did give me one. She slices, she dices, she paints the walls with the wall... Shouldn't it be carnival walls? Not walls carnival.
No, it's artistic.
Walls Carnival. Oh,
Or is
whatever.
Carnival red, I think.
Oh, okay, I see. So
The actual name of the color is Walls Carnival Red.
the color is named Carnival Red. I get it. That's cool. I like that. Okay, so she slices, she dices, she paints the walls Carnival Red with blood. It's Zalora, Rakdos Blood Artiste, played by Leia.
What class?
I didn't have it on there.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to go through
We don't
that.
know.
No.
I'm the bard.
I didn't remember.
And over there we have. Should I use your first name or no name at all?
Just Val.
You can. Either.
Okay, great. Beautiful. Rejecting her humble roots as a rock farmer for the circus life,
That's so glamorous.
it's Alenia, Rakdos Neophyte, played by Claire. I think that's everyone here. We'll save the rest for other people to show up. Okay, so who has a clear idea of what they would like to do for downtime? We can start
I
with.
don't know what my options are.
Yeah, well, you could do a lot of different things depending on what your character would do. I mean, if you don't have any specific plans, you could just say you could report back to your guild, for example.
So new.
Not that Rakdos has a real reporting structure, but
Our other
why
two
don't we
players
start
are
with
here.
you,
I think
because
we're
I know
lazy
obviously
people.
what you're
Right.
going to be doing.
So I will be going back and
Hello.
hey, our other two players are here. So I will go back to the guild. I will report in. I will rest, and I will make sure I am never without my weapon and armor ever
Fortunately,
again.
Orzhov has an excellent insurance program, and you are well insured for loss and breakage.
Of course.
And you receive your equipment, all your starting equipment, you receive
Huzzah.
free of charge as part of your
Assuming
duties.
that we don't find anything better in the rubble as we search before the arresters take us away.
No. I already gave you what you found.
Okay.
Great. So you are able to get back your equipment and that sort of thing. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
For right now, I suppose I'm going to assume that we're all going to be requested to report our story to the arresters. So
I mean, they don't necessarily know anything that happened to you. So let's go back to the arresters actually.
since everybody's here, we can do that and then do the downtime because
We'll
that
do
might
that.
inform what's going to happen.
Because I mean, she might want to do her downtime with you actually.
Do we get all of our items back?
You will, yes. You don't have them right this second, but you will.
You can plan for getting all of your items back.
You can. I mean, you're not going to get those items back. You're going to get replacement items that are the same thing.
Ooh.
Ooh.
See, what is this?
Oh, that's awesome.
So cute.
Little kit bashing.
Nice.
Yay.
A little bit.
Kit bashing? We took some parts out of my
Alright.
electronics kit and threw a marble on it.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, let me see. I'll hold up in the camera.
It's like a giant flaming sphere.
Is that an owlbear?
Yes.
I love it.
So,
My brother.
there we go. That's pretty cool.
I found that flaming sphere is the most like useful
It is.
red spell.
It's
That's
a
awesome.
very good spell.
Besides maybe fireball.
Fireball's pretty good.
So I'll go through. Mine is not done yet. I am awful at painting. So
It doesn't have an arm right now because it's not.
Kelly is painting
done
my stuff, and
yet.
that will be eventually an Orzhov paladin.
Did we have one for you last time?
I did. There was a Rakdos one.
And
It was
there?
just like me.
Vola Goblin Crusher
Was this
in
it?
various stages of completion.
Yes.
And did we have one for you last time? Oh, you have one. Great. Do you have one?
Yes.
You do?
Okay.
Do you have one? Yes. I guess everyone has one. Good job,
Yeah.
folks.
Well, let me see your.
Now,
character
I
you're using.
didn't look
I'll hold
into
it
the downtime activities. I completely
So this is
forgot
our
about that.
Rakdos
Okay.
Bard. Pretty cool.
Yes. She had mentioned think about downtime.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out.
Was this an email?
Yes, it was an email. You need to actually read those.
I'll have to just make sure that I check them before we do this because I don't.
No,
know
like a
what
week before we do
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of requests.
Oh shit.
You know, I got through it.
I just don't.
It is what it is. So I want to go. We have taglines. We've already given everyone else's, so I want to give both of your taglines. So thank you for sending them to me, both of you. Sargor of the Is It Pyromancy Lab, revealing secrets with the extreme prejudice of fire, played by Ash. And Veska of the Orzhov, knows the cost of life.
Vizika.
Is it?
Or I guess Ves. It's got the Z in there.
I know. I was just sort of slurring that with the S. You want to do Vizika?
Veska's fine.
Veska?
You know what? It'll be easier to say.
Veska of the Orzhov knows the cost of life and death and is here to collect. Played by Jessica. All right.
Okay.
Awesome. So I just did a recap, but basically what happened last time is you guys were sort of captured by the Gruul after the city collapsed. You escaped and made your way to this underground tunnel. You fought off the wave of these Gruul, and you were about to encounter another wave of them when basically Azorius forces and a paladin, and one thing I need to retcon based on the relationship chart, it was not a Selesnyan paladin, it was a Boros paladin, flew in from or basically descended using ropes, or in the case of the paladin, flew in on a skyjack from the hole above. And they sort of are descending, and as they do that, the
Rescuers.
the Gruul are sort of fleeing and leaving. So, given a minute or two, you are basically alone. The Azorius are securing the exits, and they're driving out the last of the goblins. You see them pretty much slay them without mercy when they actually catch one.
There's not a lot of mercy in this world.
The Boros paladin walks over to you. I need this. No, I don't. Where is it? Okay. The Boros paladin walks over to you. Some of you actually recognize him. He is a tall half-elf. Now, half-elves do exist on Ravnica, but they are rare. And so it's not every day that you see a half-elf. There are several different races of elves, but they just don't tend to breed with humans. But they can. And this is a half-elf Boros. You can tell by the large tabard with the flaming fist symbol in his in the center of it. Paladin. He's wearing, very well-kept armor. He gets off the skyjack and begins to walk over to you. You, Lucius, you recognize him as Calorescent. You're familiar with him because he saved your life several years ago in this situation where there was a serial killer trying to take down as many vampires as possible, claiming that they were preying on the Gildus. And you, of course, were not guilty of anything, and he actually saved you, and you resent the hell out of him for that.
Alrighty then.
Let's see, who else? Zolora, I need you to make an insight check, please. And Vola, you actually know this guy too in a different way entirely. He has hired you before as an informant, given you some money to do some scouting and light mercenary work, and things that he doesn't really want to get the Boros involved with, like on the side. So he sort of, paid you. So he's familiar with you, and you've done a little bit of work for him previously.
You do the dirty work.
Or stuff.
I like the phrase light mercenary work. It's kind of like light housework. What is light mercenary work?
Not murder so much as cracking
Not
heads.
warfare, but do some investigation, some
You're not
bodyguard work.
You're not the Punisher, but you've
So I'm not using a leaf blower.
A little muscle, a lot of plausible deniability.
That's exactly right.
13.
Okay. He looks familiar, but you cannot place him.
I don't know.
Okay. He walks over and looks like he's about to say something when several Azorius, including the one who looks like a sergeant, the arresters, run over. And they look at you, look at all of you, and says, "You're in a quarantined area. This is a violation. This is a level 3 misdemeanor. I'm going to have to ask you to come with us. Please surrender your equipment."
I will laugh at him, drop whatever bullshit I'm holding, and smile and say, "Of course we'll come with you."
The Boros guy comes over, looks at all of you, sort of nods at you, Vola, and he says, "Oh no, they're with me. They're with me, and you shouldn't. I mean, obviously they were caught up in this sort of scheme. They didn't mean to violate the quarantine. Isn't that right?"
Of course it is.
Of course.
Yes.
And,
No. Yes, of course.
Are we going to get to the point where I'm just going to have to start clapping my hand over your mouth over and over again?
the Azorius guy looks at him hard and says, "I know they weren't with you. You came down with us." And he says, nevertheless, we have to question them. So please surrender your materials and line up against that wall, and then we'll escort you out of here.
Line up against that wall sounds like a llama.
The Calorescent, do you guys want to do anything in reply?
Yes. So what would I use for a, let's say, I don't know, I might want to know a little bit about the law and persuade him that he's wrong.
Yeah, let's do a history check.
History?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm fucked.
You can try.
I can do a persuasion check.
Sure, you can do a persuasion check. I'll do that.
That would be a 24.
Okay. So you quote a section of the law. Do you have anything in mind?
You know. Good God, no. Section of the law would be unintended consequences, section 3.4,
right?
A section, subsection 5.
Yeah, you don't actually know the history, so you're kind of just making it up.
Right.
But it sounds very persuasive, and he's like, okay, if you're here on Orzhov business, you can go. That's fine.
Of course. Please, come with me.
You'd make an excellent politician.
So he looks at you.
Oh, no, I'm doing that forever. They're with me.
He's like, I can't allow that. They're obviously not members of Orzhov.
Oh.
You.
They've been paid well. They belong to Orzhov. They may not be with Orzhov, but they've been paid well.
I'll go wherever the money's going.
Right?
Keep your mouth shut.
He looks at you. I will check in with your superiors about this after. Your
Please do.
name?
Lucius Markov.
Very well. I need all of your names at least before you leave.
Vesca.
Sargora, the Pyromancy Lab.
Are there any zombies on your head?
I don't think so. Millennia.
And yeah,
Zalora?
Zalora, is that with a Z?
Sure.
And what is
Who's the guy that I know?
and what is
You
and what is your,
know the Boros Paladin, Calorescent. He is not the one asking you this. He's just sort of
That's what I was
watching.
confused
and what is
This is the
He's the
arrestor.
one who tried to get us out of
Yeah.
and
the
for my
trouble.
laboratory notebook, what is your name?
Yes, I'm arrestor Smithson.
Smithson. What is your rank?
He gives you a rank in those areas that makes no sense
Of
to you.
rank. What group of the arresters are you with?
Yes, I'm with this quadrant, which is the Precinct 3 Squad A, Level 3.
Who's your commanding officer?
He gives you a name.
Great, so just bury him
I
in
will verify
questions.
your answers with the records at the lab.
Very well.
Oh my God.
And your name?
Bola.
Very well. Okay, so you're all checked in. Please be on your way.
Why, thank you.
They secure the rest of the area.
I bump you before we go and I say, don't tell my dad about this.
Did you actually speak with him about your dad recently? Like in the last? I don't think you did.
Don't I know him?
You know that he is friends with your father. You don't actually know that he knows that you are their father's daughter.
I'm sorry, what?
Say the second part again.
You don't know whether he knows that his friend, your father, has a daughter.
So we just sent him to see some random show? He comes to my shows.
He does. Your father doesn't.
No, I know, but he does. So
Yeah.
wouldn't he know that
You assume, I guess.
Yeah, you assume he knows you're his father's daughter, but you don't actually know that.
But I know that he's friends with my dad.
He is friends with your father.
Yeah.
But he hasn't actually come out and said,
You've never
I know.
Yeah.
I've never had this conversation.
Interesting. Well, then I just told him, don't tell my dad.
He doesn't know what you're talking about.
This puzzle. This
Yeah,
puzzle
he
book
may
for
not
you.
know what that means,
Right.
but I'm insane, so...
That's some sort of weird Rakdos code. Who's your dad?
Don't tell my dad.
You take a
That
note
sounds like
code.
practice code,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Who's your daddy is Rakdos code for? I don't want to know.
Don't ask questions.
Don't want to
You
know.
don't
Practice
want
don't have
answers
safe words.
to.
Calorescent, as you were leaving, he travels out with you and says, if you run into any more trouble with them, might be able to be helpful. I have some authority there. Please, Vola, you know how to reach out to me if you need anything.
Has this happened? Is this a one-time occurrence, or has this been happening recently, regularly?
The Gruul have been more aggressive. I believe there is a particular warlord that's driving these attacks. This is a major victory, though. However, you just decimated his forces by just looking at all the bodies all around. So I'm not sure he's going to be able to do it again anytime soon.
Who is the warlord?
Yes, I don't have his name. Maybe I do. Let me look at my records here.
Sargor, are you scribe?
Nope.
Because it looks like you are.
I'm writing words down, and if we choose to believe them at the next session, well, that is your problem.
His name is Warlord Karog.
Warlord Karog.
Karog, yes. We've been tracking him. I was flying overhead when I saw you all run into the collapsed area and got the Azorius involved.
Karog.
I have one in the other one.
What is his...
I don't have any details at this point. I'm sorry. I just know we've been patrolling the area.
He's Calorescent.
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 If you spell it like kale and recent.
Kill Recent is a much better name.
Kale recent, is it?
We're going to now call him Kill Recent.
Have you recent yet, kale?
Apparently, yes.
Any other questions I can help with? What were you doing out here anyway?
Be against all better judgment, I was enjoying a show.
Against all better judgment.
Well, they were responsible for a number of deaths. It's not this is not typical Gruul behavior. It seems very unusual. There have been reports of cannibalism. I've never heard of Gruul doing that.
That's good, because
We witnessed it.
You witnessed it. You saw them eating another creature? Being?
Well, we saw them dragging them out and them saying, "Please don't eat me." So,
you know, that's a good indication. I'll take it.
Wait,
I'll take it.
alrighty then.
That's a lot.
Do you all have a... Are you a team? Do you have a name?
No.
Super friends.
Ah.
I'm
Okay.
kidding.
Wasn't ready for that.
Well,
Is there
I know how
anything
to-
we can do to follow up?
I don't have anything at this stage, but if I do find something, you'll be the first to know. I know how to reach out to Vola. And we've met before,
Of
haven't
course we have, yes.
I think I remember.
Yes.
Was this the vampire
I am
incident?
indebted to you a second time.
Ah, well, it's good to see you again. And you're of course not indebted to me. I'm just doing my job.
Good.
But they'll hold it over you later.
Azorius.
No, that's us.
Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, let me know if you need anything else.
okay.
And that's pretty much the end of that.
So as soon as he leaves, I will turn to everyone and say, I intend to follow up on this. If you would all like to help, that is fine. I will do it on my own if I have to, but I do intend to follow up and find out whoever this warlord, what is it?
Karog.
Karog.
Gruul Karog.
Who he, she, it is, and quite frankly, drain all the blood from its fucking body.
Azorius, that's what's for dinner, says Mr. N and J.
It seems their goal was to kill us all, or
Eat us all?
eat us all.
So I'm going to go and meditate on this for a bit, and I invite you all to come and meet me at my estate at some point in the next few days.
Any reason the Gruul would want to kill us all? Do any of you all have grudges with the Gruul or anything?
Well, nobody likes Draftos.
No, nobody likes us, but
I like
so you keep us around.
I mean,
I looked
honestly,
at
it
my
doesn't occur
records. I don't think I
to you.
collected
You
any
know Gruul
debts
behavior
from
pretty
them
well. It
recently.
does not
Yeah.
seem like a targeted attack. I mean,
Yeah.
you probably were just raising areas, and you happened to be caught in the... It doesn't seem like it was focused on you in particular.
Right.
But the cannibalism is certainly out of the ordinary.
Is this use of magic uncharacteristic of Gruul?
No, it is not. No.
It probably seems perfectly in line with
And
what
is,
they do.
Is chaos magic? Okay.
Chaos magic is very in line with Gruul, and they use a magic called Cinder Vines, which you've seen before. It just rips apart buildings.
So are we the wrong people at the wrong place?
Or we the right people at the wrong place?
I like the way you think.
Boom. Yeah.
We're definitely people in a place.
So now we've got some downtime in between what happens next. Like I said, I've laid the groundwork, I hope, for getting us together again to talk about what we've found out about this and what we plan to do about it. That make sense?
Indeed.
Is there anything you want to kind of make us do or railroad
No.
us toward?
You guys are basically able to, by spending some time, recover your equipment. You know, the carnival has a pretty flexible. You owe people favors, they owe you favors, but you're able to acquire the gear you both started with. So you were able to get back your starting gear very easily. Orzhov has an excellent insurance program, so
Yeah.
you were able to get back your equipment fairly easy. You just have to go file out some paperwork, and of course, you're able to get.
Paperwork.
It's minor.
It's like
One thing they want to make
son.
sure is that their knights are well equipped. So you guys got that. And you keep extra stuff in the lab anyway. It's not like you were carrying a lot.
How
And
do I get my stuff back?
Yeah, what did
I
you
don't-
actually lose?
I lost a lot. I
you?
lost
a great
short
axe?
bow, great axe.
You already picked up a new great axe.
I have a new. So I had an old one. Yeah, I had armor. I had shields. I had
You keep a spare set of armor in your place. I mean, you're a mercenary, so you go through these sorts of things.
my light mercenary work.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, like.
mercenary.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll say if you meet up with Calorescent later, he will give you some extra equipment to
Okay.
make up with it.
So now we have everything that we started with.
Basically, yes, you have all your starting gear plus what you got from the last adventure. And I do want to ask, who is keeping track of everything you gain in terms of money and equipment and that sort of thing?
So I think.
Sargar was right.
I was definitely writing things.
So if you guys want to distribute all
Like,
that, you should do
I
it
have
because
the
I gave you
magical
some
staff
money and I
with
gave
the
you.
floating rock.
You
Can
sure
I
do.
figure out what that does now?
You can spend your downtime doing that as part of it if you'd like. Yeah.
Okay.
We have 2 healing potions, 2 other potions, 1 fire breath, 1 rock, something.
Yeah, you didn't figure out what it was, but you can do that during your downtime.
Did
Certainly.
that cute little guy follow us?
Yeah, he's following. He seems to really like him.
The cute little
By the
rock
way-
elemental.
Remind
Yeah.
everyone.
I like to feed him.
Ah, yes. Here is the
This is a
rock
friend.
elemental we found. How tall is he? About 6
He's
inches?
a small size.
So,
No, he's small. So he's about the size of
It's like
You've
cat.
got a
3.
goblin
Cat size?
skin.
well, actually no, he's about the size of like
I have what?
He's
You
like
have
a
goblin
small
skin
halfling.
map.
Small halfling, so like a foot and a half.
I guess I did.
yeah, 2 feet.
Okay.
2 feet.
That's big, actually.
It's really
like-
big. Yeah, it's not tiny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has it grown?
No,
Okay.
no,
So we
Has it
skinned a
started
goblin
right?
for its
Yeah.
map.
no.
Yes.
It just sort of stares at you,
Just so it eats and poops
and
rocks.
it's like holding its rock. It like
Of what?
juggles it, throws it
The
around.
map was to get us
I
to the
think he's
cave.
cute for now.
Oh,
So we can
right,
escape.
right,
He
right,
likes
right.
you too. He comes up to you, sort of nuzzles you a
I
little
always
bit.
pet him. I pet him. I'm like, you're so cute. I feed him rocks.
He likes
Wait,
it.
he's back? I missed it.
He never left.
He never left.
Oh,
No, he never left.
Yeah.
And did the Azorius or the
He seems
Boros
to like-
mention him at all?
They did not. They were busy with other matters, and they didn't pay attention to him.
You have a new lab assistant.
You
Right.
and you, he seems to have the most attraction towards. So if either of you want to take him, he will go with you.
Okay.
Do you need a
He
new-
could be your buddy if I need him a potion. I'll grab him.
Thanks.
You have a
we need
familiar.
somebody else who can break things.
And,
down.
and he's fireproof, so that's really good. That's
Yeah.
gonna be
You
around
do
the
not
lab.
know that he's fireproof, so you can test that in the lab if you'd like.
Oh, Lord.
You just need a small sample.
Be nice to
A
him.
small sample.
No burning rock.
Elements.
I'll tell you what.
It's not like it's gonna smell like hair on fire.
It'll smell like rock on
That's the
fire.
worst.
It is hair.
You
I
can
mean,
experiment
it looks
on him
like
with
hair.
fire.
It
and I'll
looks like it's
experiment
made of
on him
hair.
with,
So there was
blades.
a
can see
Selesny
it.
preemptive
It's hair.
wound
Okay.
closure. Did we hang on to that?
That's yes, I've
Okay.
got that.
That's the fancy.
Cleric.
So you have that equipped. You've attuned
Yes.
to it, and just mark on there who took stuff, so we know what's not in the party. Did you guys already take the healing potions and that sort of thing? Did you split them up?
Who would like the healing potions?
I say we give at least one to Vola.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take
Oh,
it.
thanks.
Well, I mean, we want the tank to.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the end of the day, if both healers are down, the tank should have a potion.
With respect to your offer about magic,
You know, why don't I take
I
the
have
other one
three.
too,
It's
just
a
in
great
case?
idea. I would like to plunder the Bard School of Magic for its cantrips and first level spell.
Okay. Okay.
Because healing word would be something that would be obviously cool for someone in the party to have.
Sure. And she has healing word,
Yes.
So both of us. That's
and so
not,
does
it's
so
not a
does
bad thing
she,
to-
and so does she. So I mean, if you don't feel like you need to do that because
Yeah, I have it too.
Yeah.
3 people in the party already have healing word, so it's not at all necessary.
You should get stuff to burn and destroy things.
Yeah.
Yes, but I have a sorcerer. I have most of the destroy things. But maybe from the.
I was thinking the wizard one you could do familiar if you wanted to.
That'd be cool.
Doesn't
You
he
don't have to.
already technically
drink
have
on
a
healing
familiar?
potion.
I
You
do.
don't.
I'm
I
just
have 3.
No,
joking.
Make it 2.
I
I'll
mean,
take
that would
one.
be a really unusual familiar to find.
Just in case I
Sure,
get them,
sure,
just
that
in
sounds like
case.
fun.
Okay. So
Very
you're
good.
gonna switch your feats to magic initiates. You
Yes.
get a first level spell, which is Find Familiar, and you get 2 cantrips
Cantrips.
of your choice from the wizard spell list.
Hunting that down.
Now remember, when you use those cantrips, though, you will use your intelligence modifier. So you might want to get ones that don't require a
That don't need a modifier.
like
yeah.
mage hand or.
You should
something
also.
like that.
Couldn't he check the Ravnica for his guild for cantrips? Would he be able to use any of his guilds?
Yeah, he would. Mm-hmm.
So you could also check
Okay, that makes sense.
your guild to see if they have a cantrip you like.
Cool.
So I'm pretty much, when you have in the back of your brain time to think, I'm going to
Sure.
spend my couple of days
Uh-huh.
before we meet again trying researching this warlord Carrick and
Okay.
trying to figure out what he's been up to, what he's doing, and who's associated with him.
Okay. Why don't we do a? Are you doing this by yourself?
I will assist him because
Yes,
I
because
am
I have
helpful.
I have the persuasion and intimidation, not the history or the.
Would
or
you
the,
like to go report to your superior as well?
I will,
You
and
don't
I
have
will
to.
tell the absolute truth
Okay.
about what happened.
So let's run that scene first. You go report to
You coming
your
with me?
superior,
Sure. Let's get this
who
done.
is her name is Lissa Markov.
Oh, Aunt
She-
Lissa.
Aunt Lissa, as you know her. She is a vampire. She's an oligarch, very high ranking. She speaks for the spirits. That's what oligarchs do. And you know her to be a little bit cold. She expects a lot from you. So you,
Would I assume that she is black primary?
you could make that assumption. You make an appointment with her, and the next day you're able to go see her. So you are in a opulent sitting room. You're both let in. She is behind a desk, and as she stands, you see she has a glass of a red substance, and she's just sort of strolling. She goes over to you. Lucius, Vesca, good to see you both. I hear you've had some interesting adventures recently.
Indeed.
She is a tall, elegant woman. When you're near her, you have the faintest whiff of rot, the smell of rot underneath your
The
tongue.
rot.
She covers it with like way too much perfume, so it's just sort of. It doesn't really bother you that much because you don't have to breathe.
Yeah, but
you
I'm like,
it is cloying and awful.
Well, and also being a grave cleric, I'm like, really? There's so
More
many.
rot.
Yeah.
Like, I could help here. Like, I've got the skills.
It's a flowery sort of perfume.
I would wear perfume.
It's like
and rot.
dead roses.
Exactly.
Yep. I will make a point to sham breathing around her,
Sounds good.
so as not to offend.
One moment. I think I wrote notes on this. She says, "Where is that delightful sister of yours?"
You know, she ran away to the circus.
Not sorry.
Interesting. I'd love to hear more about her adventures. She's always doing something new. But regardless, tell me about this. What happened?
Against better judgment, of course, we went to see a Rakdos show, and the bar,
A disaster occurred.
of course. Well, but disaster occurred at the behest of the Gruul, not the Rakdos.
I see. And you think it wasn't planned?
I'm not sure. I would like to bring some resources to bear to investigate this further. Particularly if any of our holdings are going to be subject to destruction at the hands of the Gruul.
Where was it?
What was the name of this? The bar, the Pit,
Righteous.
the Righteous
Yes.
Pit.
I don't know. Where is that?
In the third
Where exactly is it?
It was in
District
Precinct
3.
3 in the, what's that neighborhood called?
Where was it? Precinct 3 up here somewhere?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
it
right
was
over,
over
here,
here.
on the edge, but
Yeah.
it has a name, that district. The Reconstruction or something, or the,
Really? The Reconstruction?
No, that's not right. I don't recall exactly offhand. We'll figure out later. But it was a neighborhood in Precinct 3, and you're familiar with it, so you give the name of it.
Okay.
That is not Orzhov territory.
Right.
It's more close to the Silesian areas.
Well,
That may be true, but it seems they're hell-bent on doing more destruction, and it wouldn't surprise me much if they start moving towards our area.
And it would not surprise me to find out that we have investments in those areas.
How does this benefit the syndicate? What would you, these resources you want to take, how would they aid us?
It never hurts to have the other guilds in debt to us.
Certainly. And perhaps it bears your time. Why don't you come back when you have some real information, and perhaps we'll explore this further.
I would like to use you for information. I do not need actual physical help. I need your resources in the realm of information.
Well, tell me what you need.
I need someone who can investigate this, or at the very least tell us more about these things. Warlord, give me the name again, because I'm going to forget this every time.
Karog.
Warlord Karog.
He makes the cereal.
She makes a note.
And the...
Kellogg is different.
Yeah.
He makes a cereal out of his victims.
And what was the Azorius group that was investigating that came to our aid?
The arresters of the third...
I'll give that name, and I would like to know what exactly the arresters of the 3rd District have been looking into recently.
We'll see if we have time.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you, Aunt.
Of course, of course. It's always a pleasure to see you.
I will...
Try not to embarrass the family.
Of course.
And you're ushered out.
Your aunt's always so delightful.
Isn't she, though?
Okay.
And I won't say anything further about that in this building.
Yeah.
Let's come back to you too if you want to do anything else with your downtime. Let's go to you. Yes. What would you like to do with your downtime?
I should catch up with both of them.
You can do that, certainly. Let's while they're doing that, why don't we give a little bit of time for you? You were able to spend about half a day your first day and get your equipment back and check in with your contacts and see what shows are going on and that sort of thing this evening.
I want to see if anybody who are doing the shows know anything that's going on with Gruul, or like any strain of Gruul.
Cannibalism.
Sure. Yeah,
I forgot something. You and Veska each get a level 1 point of reputation
Okay.
with yours off. I'm sorry.
Asking around to the different, what are they called? They're not tribes. They're cults. If they have seen any Gruul cannibalism or heard of anything of the sort.
They're eating people now? Says one of your friends. He's an ogre. He's a juggler.
They're eating people now.
I'm not eating people.
No.
It's a great idea.
No.
Oh my god, we can do such great things in the
No,
show.
no.
Oh, what if we cut off
We're gonna get
pieces
on
with the
just
knives and we like turn them into juggling and I like throw them at you and sometimes you have to guess if it's a piece of meat, you eat it, and if it's a knife, you have to dodge. That'd be really cool. Tell me that's not cool.
I'm into it. I'm into it.
No, we have limits.
I don't.
What?
Alrighty then.
That's
You know, actually,
that's
maybe.
Okay,
Maybe.
alright, well,
You know what? I'll think
consider it. I'm gonna practice. It's gonna take some time. I'm gonna practice while you're gone.
Okay, but we only eat beautiful people.
Well, yeah.
Okay, just making sure we're on the same page.
Okay, alright. But anyway, this is
Okay,
really
not
cool.
beautiful
So
blood.
there was goblins. What else happened? What else happened?
They blew up.
Only
the-
volunteers.
Only volunteers.
Yeah, it's just volunteers. You know, people that want to be on the stage and.
Oh, you mean for our show? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you were eating.
Sure. What? Well, do you know
That's
any?
it.
So you don't know any? You haven't heard anything about Gruul's?
No.
Have you seen any like more than usual Gruul's at shows or anything?
No.
No. Okay. Well,
You're done. I
we
need
can
to
practice
go.
some more.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how I'm gonna roll from now.
So there is a show tonight, and it is more of like a low key. It's not as physical a show. It's more like it's kind of like a poetry slam, Rakdos style, where people talk and they sort of talk about the beauty of death, and they sort of go on about these, this more
We're knights now.
arcane sort of, not arcane, but complex
Okay.
sort of storytelling.
That's a show that could use cannibalism.
Yeah. But if you wanted to, it's a good way for the Rakdos to sort of get out what they've done recently, and if you wanted to sort of promote how you slew all these goblins and sort of increase your reputation, you could go to that night and sort of talk about what you did.
Interesting.
That'd be a way for you to sort of build your Rakdos reputation.
We can do that. Yes.
Is that something that would interest you both, or no?
Party time.
What if I tie her up and throw knives at her?
Yeah.
And then
into it.
I talk about stories that we've done and how I slew some little goblins.
Okay.
Are we
Sounds
actually
fine.
knights?
Sounds fun.
Excellent.
Sounds like my 20s.
You're not.
Level
knights.
no,
No.
level 2
Like
is
later.
Heroes of Renown is level 2.
You
Yes.
just
Knight.
said we got.
Oh, jeez.
No, 2 says knight in the book.
No.
No, you have to earn renown. We got 1 renown point.
Oh,
Like,
I thought it
we
was.
are still low level
never mind. I
peons.
thought-
Like,
Yeah, you got 1 renown point. You need
got it.
yeah, we're not
10.
even rank 1.
Got
Like, correct.
Mhm.
Like, okay.
Got it.
That is correct. Okay. So you're gonna do this performance. The best place to actually do like a performance like this would be tomorrow night, and we'll say during the downtime you get your performance ready and prepare, and get your show in order and figure out what
There
you're
you
gonna be
are.
saying. Does that make sense? Did you guys want to do anything else, or is that basically what
I
you
feel like
want?
I should probably catch up with my sister.
Okay, so we'll say this happens the one night, and you have still time to catch up with your
Oh yeah,
sister.
your sister. I need to practice my
You're not there.
dagger throwing. Yeah.
Cool.
We'll catch up.
All right, I want to go to Vola first, and then we'll come back to you both.
This is a matter of confusion about relationships and who I've known for how long.
Sure.
Him.
Sargor.
Sargor, you've worked with him in the lab. You basically don't have a guild, so you have time, and you've taken a lot of odd jobs throughout the years to get by.
Right.
And so I don't know how long you two have known each other. Why don't you tell me that?
Well, I was trying to figure out whether or not we were on a comfort basis where I can go hang out in the lab.
I would see why not.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah.
Because,
Absolutely. There's always glassware that needs attending
I
to.
want to try to put
And by that he means breaking.
basically, because I like to fiddle,
I have my back.
and it sounds like the perfect place to go on my downtime and fiddle with things.
Perfect.
So that's what I'm going to be doing.
So you head to the lab. You smell a little bit of smoke, burnt charred remains, and you were in there doing.
Did you burn the little guy?
Just the tiniest sample. The
little tiny hair
the
sample.
specimen wasn't harmed.
It does burn.
The specimen wasn't
The
harmed.
hair sample you burn does in fact burn. So you're pretty sure it is not fire resistant.
Oh.
Poor little guy.
I'm in the process of attuning myself to the specimen.
You can make him a little suit.
Where's the little thing
They
again?
have
Hold it
suit.
up.
Along with, I'll pull in the wizard cantrip for control, create bonfire and control flame because
Just to
that's
let you know,
Yeah.
DevCon
That sounds great.
is
Fiery.
kind of
Can
a
you
dark
make
They don't
me
tend to be pale
a
because
Arcana
of
check to
brown,
represent the
darker
studies you've been
skin.
doing on this
Is that what
thing?
you all both are?
Yeah.
Is that hard?
absolutely.
What do you all look like?
So we're not even syndics yet.
You're like-
One more point, and then we become syndics.
Exactly.
That's funny.
An 11.
Okay. You think you've learned a little bit about it. You found that it is basically immune to. It's more like the earth aspect of red magic as opposed to the fire aspect. You've learned that it's immune to poison, for example, which is probably helpful. It can also hear you coming, like without looking at you. You've sort of experimented on that to learn that. So it has like some sort of sense where it can see you. And as you're studying it,
Like,
she
as in tremor sense,
it
perhaps?
has tremor sense, yes. As you are playing with it, Vola comes into the lab. Have you actually attuned to it as a familiar yet?
Yes.
Okay, great. So it is your familiar. Here is your stats.
Oh yeah. Let me have a picture again. I'll hold it up so people can see it.
Yeah.
I like the other thing. I like this picture. I like what the printer did to it.
Yeah, retro
Yeah, my
scanner.
printer's terrible.
There we go.
Yeah, you need to recalibrate it.
I know. I need to do it.
There is the little
Clean.
2-foot tall elemental friend.
Yeah, for people who play Final Fantasy XIV, it looks familiar, but that's okay. It's a monster from Final Fantasy XIV.
What's his name?
It's called a Spriggan.
No, but what?
But
what's
Sargo
his
gets to name it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe you get to name it.
Have you played every Final Fantasy? Oh.
I mean, as a familiar, I have some telepathic link to it. It can
Yeah.
signal simple ideas to me. Does it have a name?
It does not. It's not really familiar with the concept, but if you were to give it a name, it'd probably take it.
Might respond.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
I eat stone.
Stony.
You want stone? Okay, I keep.
Yes.
Wait, now that
Litter
he's
box is in the corner.
It nuzzles.
now that he's
Oh wow. He's
attuned to it,
Yeah.
he can
way
understand
better
it.
than your typical familiar.
Yeah, he's like an advanced familiar. That's right.
Alrighty then.
There you go.
We have a 7th party member.
He's not that.
No.
Okay.
No. This guy's super. Oh, that's really cool.
Get her some grease. Just a little bit.
I don't have any.
Oh, really?
Uh-uh.
I'll get something.
This is fresh out the box, like just now.
Yeah, I don't have.
It's
I need
dry.
to get some because I don't
I
have
ran
it to
those, I'm
fix
probably
it to
drunk.
my
Gotcha.
thing.
I'll get something.
Oh,
during the
right,
break
and
later.
it has special arms, right?
She has a scythe.
Yep. I was about to say,
She's
cool.
missing the one arm.
We'll
yes.
It's pretty awesome. though.
Here. I'll just use that.
oh, for the little elemental
Little
guy.
guy.
That's funny. All right, cool.
Well, yeah, I'm just.
So, I mean, you guys are together in the lab.
Yes.
What's going on?
I am working on these new spells
Don't touch it.
and focusing on
Oh no.
making this friggin' teach me things about its soul and what it is to be a stone and to eat stone and to play with stone.
As you play in the lab, it occasionally says, you know, you hear, "Can I help?" You know, it basically wants to be helpful, and if you don't do anything, it basically you feel it sort of use its ability on you.
Well, can you teach the stone to turn glassware into smaller glassware?
Bull was like, I've got this talent.
Sure. So a centaur and a
Centaur and an elemental walk into a bar.
elemental.
Cool in a china shop, right?
So I'm trying to teach an elemental how to do things.
Yes, it likes to eat the glass. It seems to like it, so it's doing that as you make it smaller.
Oh, he can be your shop vac.
So after they've collected enough of a pile of glass, I work on with the flame spell of like blowing it back into glassware.
After
Seems very
a little bit, you know,
unproductive.
after near the end of the day, it's just sort of carries over like a piece of stone that it looks like a bunch of melded pieces of glass together, like a big bowl of like glass shards that have been sort of stuck together, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
It's sort of oblong, and carries it over and drops it, goes back to pick up its stone.
He's learned how to meld glass together.
That's handy.
Just don't let him touch your clothes or
So,
anything.
is it does he have his soul stone with him?
Yeah,
He's carrying it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one he's carrying around.
Okay.
Yeah, it just looks like it looks like a chunk of, you could probably identify it if it looks like a rock. It probably is something else, like maybe it's like ore. It's hard to tell, but you could identify it if you wanted to. I mean, it's just a chemical you'd be measuring, you know? You could weigh it to figure out its density.
Burn it.
See if it melts, yeah. You can figure out what it is pretty quickly.
Huh.
Your soul was in a stone.
I'm glad we didn't give him any responsibilities for investigating into the gruel.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Okay,
Figure out what the stone is.
cool.
Is that an Arcana check?
Yeah, let's just do an Arcana check. Makes sense.
It's a 17.
It definitely, as you study it, definitely has some magical properties. You try to chip a piece off and you are not able to. However, it looks to be like a composite of gold and iron and sort of platinum. And this really sort of early precursor that you've heard about but never actually seen of Mizium. Because it's just like what the gruel developed long time ago.
We've seen traces of Mizium elsewhere in the lab, haven't we?
Oh yeah, you work in Mizium all the time, but this is like
Proto-Mizium?
Proto-Mizium, maybe.
Ur Mizium?
But you could definitely tell it's magical because it's not chipping, and you don't know if it's giving it that property or if it naturally has it.
And the Spriggan looks uneasy without it.
Oh,
It's
Yeah, it does not happy. It starts to beg. It starts to like
Whimper.
pull on you. It doesn't actually make any noise. No.
Just really wants it back.
But it like scratches at your leg. It like jumps. Its arms in the air.
Oh.
Friend can have
sad.
his rock back.
It's happy. It nuzzles.
He guzzles you.
Did you name it?
I'm still working on that.
Okay. Anything else you both want to do? And if not, I will.
Ooh.
Ooh.
We'll name him Lithor.
Lithor.
Like Luther.
Can you write that down, please?
Lithor.
Can you call him
Lily.
Lithy for
Yes.
short?
Lily.
Lily.
Excellent.
Lily.
Excellent.
Lily. I like
Excellent.
Oh my.
Lily. Lithor is his formal name. Lily is his.
Lithor, or Lily for short.
That's excellent.
Thank you.
I'm sure I'll come up with my own nickname for him.
Alright, so I'm gonna flash away from you two and go to you both who are catching up. Where are you catching up?
I don't know. I guess maybe you send someone.
I want to indoctrinate her into Rakdos, don't I?
I mean, you want that. She
So
has
maybe,
shown zero interest, but
Actually,
Maybe I take her
about
to
that,
this
before
party?
you left, I always tell you, and you probably want your sister to join, but we don't have any room left currently, unless you join her to another cult.
It's just as Rakdos.
That doesn't mean that you're still not going to try, but
Don't do weird shit. So should we be hanging out at the
I
party
guess.
after I perform?
I don't know. It's up to you.
Well, I guess depending on the timing, like what the downtime is, when we separated, it could have been like, hey, I'll meet up with you at X. I don't know.
So you gave yourself a day, right, to
Yeah,
do
to-
your Orzhov stuff.
Mhm.
The next day, which is day 2 of the downtime, you guys plan to get lunch before you go perform tonight with Zalora.
Brunch.
Okay.
Brunch.
Let's do brunch. Let's do Ravnica brunch.
Don't tempt me to make a theme menu because I will.
Rakdos brunch is like.
Oh.
Anyway.
I mean,
Oh
Blood
boy.
I
Marys.
have a lot of ideas.
Bloody Marys. Anyway.
Yeah.
Talia's blood orange drink.
Oh yeah.
Isn't a Bloody Mary more like a Orzhov thing?
Probably both.
That's
yeah.
true.
Guys, seriously, don't tempt me. All I want to do is
Especially-
ever make brunch for people.
So maybe you cook.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll task you for next time.
Yes.
I just meant for this encounter, but
Okay.
I knew what you
I
meant,
meant
but
for the
also
next game.
yes. Please let me cook for you.
So, how are things shaking in the land of the cult?
Traitor.
It's not a cult. It's a party. It's not as boring as our old life. I get to party all the time.
It's not a cult.
It sounds
it's a
like
But people in
party.
cults don't want to call them cults, do they? It's just fun.
This is a
It's-
poppy
it's
moment.
fun.
Yeah, that is.
Oh,
They
I
understand my
had
needs.
Control flame.
Oh no, I can't judge you. I'm not rot farming either. I had no interest in that.
It still smells a little gamey in the Rakdos. But,
So you
Better
get a
than rot.
touch of home.
yeah, a little touch of home there. Delicious.
Now, have you, in your time, figured out anything more about the shenanigans that went down the other day?
I don't think I have any insight into anything.
Why we
that
woke
happened.
up?
Yeah.
not really. I mean, if you have an idea
I
about
like to
how
drink.
you want to research that, you could. I mean, there are libraries and such, and I don't know if that's really your thing, but you could
Probably
try.
not my thing.
I mean, there are ways to investigate, but you'd probably have to leave this area and go
Like
out in
what?
the wilderness, or
I have no idea what my options are.
yeah, your options are what you can imagine. There's
Yeah,
I knew.
it'd be
First D&D game, come on.
yeah.
So
I know.
it'd be
We'll
what
get
you
there.
felt like your character would do. Since you are Rakdos and you basically ran away to join the circus, you're probably not researching.
I'll give you
Whereas
context.
I'm kind of the doctor of the family, and I'm, asking you questions to see if you noticed anything strange. But
So Rakdos
you
have
know.
a larger group of people, and they dress a certain way, and they do certain performances, and they have different lifestyles.
Yeah.
But specifically there are different troops, and you're a part of my troop right now. And so
So
we're
much
training.
runners.
I can't
Basically.
read your handwriting.
So that
Yeah, I'm
people
terrible
can
at
join
that.
Rakdos and just be at different troops.
I'll just come with
Yeah,
you.
it could potentially be a part of our troop too, if that like gives you context.
So I know that we're
So I
intimidating
should
to a lot of
let her
people,
go?
so that could be used to our
Yes.
advantage if
Yeah.
we want to go
Yeah.
talk to people.
We're the
and
Bloodblade artists.
I can.
It'd probably be better if you were to do that if you had some idea of what you
Can you
wanted
do that?
to do, though.
Is my
You
handwriting
know?
that bad?
So, I mean, if maybe
First
it's
D&D
maybe,
game, I don't.
no, but I
know
mean,
how
maybe
things
she can
are.
help with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't understand how to do that.
So here's an interesting thing. So sister, what could you have done? Are you familiar with Alyssa Markov? Like, what
Yeah.
could you have done to?
Yeah, you know her.
Do
She
I?
is,
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
you-
I'm
you're
asking.
finding out right
saying
now.
You know her. You know Alyssa
She's gonna
Markov,
help you.
and you know that she knows. You both know her. Basically, Alyssa Markov was a she was before she was a vampire. Long ago, she was once an elf, and she is distantly related to both of you.
Oh, okay.
Distantly related to both of you
Distantly,
before she became a vampire. So you know of her. That's how she knows you. She's much more close. She's related to him by blood because because they're vamp. That's much more
Yeah.
close relation. But by family line, she's related to both of you technically. And yeah, she's met you. She's always seemed to have a positive interaction with you, Elenia. She's just sort of very interested in your well-being.
I knew she had met me, but I don't know if I'd like remember her.
You do, yeah. She's just, she sometimes gives you gifts. She seems really nice.
Oh, gifts.
Okay.
Why don't I go with you? Gifts, please.
You're always welcome back in the Orzhov.
Oh,
She was never in the Orzhov.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
In the Orzhov.
Join our cult.
Yes,
If I get
exactly.
gifts.
She mostly just ignores you, but she seems to like her sister.
You're a guild, not a cult.
Yeah.
Well, Alyssa apparently is asking after you again. I guess.
I want gifts.
Well, she didn't send any this time. Maybe next time. Especially since I feel like I'll likely end up seeing her within the next day or so.
Yeah.
Has there been any interesting words around your camp?
I've heard nothing. So far.
We haven't gotten much either.
I think I've probably been doing shots. And trying to forget about the whole ordeal. So no, I have no new information.
Any new shows coming up?
Show tonight. Come to the show.
I will check my
Check your busy schedule.
schedule.
You're pretty free, actually. Tonight.
Well, then it looks like I'm going to a Rakdos show.
Okay.
Like, I would
So
like
I'm
to.
like bouncing right now, like with excitement that my sister is actually coming to a record show.
Yes,
Yay.
yes. I guess I won't wear my normal vestments. The last time I went to a show,
Wear your
covered in my-
armor.
Yeah.
Wear
like,
your armor.
Yeah, like I guess I'll switch into something a little less Orzhov for the show.
Birthday suit. Practice party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not there yet. Not there yet. But I guess I could leave the gold chain at home tonight.
Probably
I
safer.
mean, it's probably,
Yeah.
probably better if it doesn't get stolen at the party.
Are you having fun breaking larger glasses into smaller glasses?
Yes.
With your goblin crushing hose?
Is there anything else you two want to catch up on, or are you pretty much done for now?
Is there anything we need to cover?
Not particularly. You could go check in with some other folks if you wanted to. There are job opportunities. There is the library you could go to. You have some connections there, actually. You know people that work there.
Yep.
Should I check in with my troop?
You have, and there hasn't been much word. You're mostly, Zora's getting ready for the performance tonight.
Right.
Yeah. So
Should I
That's
be
pretty
able to
much
check
it.
in with the performance
A
now?
little
yeah,
bit.
you've done that. You've done that too.
2
So
hours.
Well,
You mostly wing
I
it.
probably,
Pretty
given
much, yeah.
kind
That's actually
of
not true.
my clarity researcher background and curiosity for facts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, since I do have the contact at the library, and I don't trust cousin, great aunt, whatever she is to me, Lissa, to actually get me information.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
gonna do
help
some research.
in whatever way I can. I am not particularly the most intelligent individual, so.
Okay. So you both head to the library to see if you can dig up more information. This is the Asmiri Library. It is, I think it's in precinct. Oh, I don't recall offhand if what precinct it's in. Is it 2 or 3 or 4? It's in 4, I believe.
So, precinct 4?
Yes, I believe that's the case. And you enter. It's one of the largest and best kept libraries on
What is this
in
library?
this whole 10th district.
Okay.
It's the Ismiri Library.
Ismiri.
ISMERI Library. You go to an area where you know one of your friends works. Your contact's name is Natala. She is a Vidalcan librarian woman. And so she, you actually don't see her when you walk in. Everyone sort of stares at you enter. As it's mostly just a few people researching. It's a pretty quiet day. And it's a huge library, so this is just one of the various wings. This one focuses on historical research. So there's a place to set up. After a few minutes, basically you see her walk over. And she sort of quietly says, "How are you?"
Stage whisper.
Stage whispering.
Outside of waking up after getting attacked by the girl, I'm doing swell. Yeah, like, it's definitely been an experience. Have you heard anything about the warlord, which may be kind of pushing the aggression in precinct 3?
No. Tell me about it. Oh, are you there too, by the way? Are you there too? Who else is with you? No, it's you.
Yeah,
You're there.
I was
Yeah,
not
I'm
in the
with her.
Rakdos library.
Okay, cool. Make me an insight check, please.
Sure.
Practice.
Raj is in the library. You can't. Yeah. I can't be that quiet.
No. 15.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
yeah.
Okay, you definitely know each other. They're clearly friends. You haven't met this one before, but they're probably friends.
Okay. I would like to try to persuade her to help in the best possible way. Is she? I mean, in their interaction, is she actually helpful? She's trying to be helpful.
well, she's trying to be. She doesn't actually know what you need yet, but she might
Yeah,
be.
well, let's wait until you've got the relationship. Why don't you?
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
her from a few different contexts.
Yeah, there's apparently a warlord that may be pushing the aggression and kind of making the girl more kind of aggressive than they normally are. So I'm looking to see if I can find any, like, connections, information.
What was the name? Warlord.
Karog.
I mean, I don't know. We probably won't have much
Should I write
information
that
about
on
that
your
here. However,
should probably
out
write
of
that.
character,
Mm-hmm.
you also have a lot of information from a certain tablet that you found, which might have more historical research that she would be able to
Oh,
help
right,
you
and
with.
I could read it. Oh, right, and you gave that to me because it was in Elven and you can't read it. Okay. So, yay, the tablet.
The tablet, which is right there.
Yep. Hang on. Which I failed at reading the last time.
Let's hold that up so the stream can see. Ooh, that's pretty cool.
That's because the text is encrypted.
Encrypted in fancy font.
Yes.
Dingbats again?
Well, I guess, so she's a Vidalcan. I'm going to, I guess, try to read it to her again, but I know I'm going to get this wrong.
She can take a look at it if you have any sort of questions about it. Did I hand it out, or did I...
Oh,
Is that your version? No, I made another version. I think
Oh.
I printed up another one just because I didn't have that in my... You guys took that one, and I did not have it. What do I do with it is the question.
What are you trying to do?
A copy of it so I can look at it.
Here.
Okay, great. So you, yeah, it says, we recognize Girana the Tree Shaper, Girana the Tree Shaper, for bearing a loathsome bane to the barons for sealing. The bane's a bane sealed, a truth revealed. The world soul rejoices. Dinar the Bane Keeper, Lord of Mosel Pearl. Mosel Pearl. Not sure how to pronounce that.
And she just rattles it right off.
I mean, you can read it. It's
Oh,
right
okay.
there.
All right.
I'm an
I
elf.
thought this was the librarian.
No.
Interesting. Mosel
Yeah.
Pearl. That sounds familiar.
I would like to walk over, clasp my hand on her shoulder, think really hard, and I would like to guide her.
Okay, go ahead and roll that 4 for me.
Hey, 4.
A 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it.
You can do it. The power of black and white magic compels you.
Yeah, I remember the Mosel Pearl. That was, we can find a book on it. I think I know where to guide you, but it's an ancient tower kept by a powerful priest named Dinar, which makes sense. It's been lost for thousands of years and was assumed destroyed many before the Guild Pact even, centuries and centuries ago, a long time ago. But there'd be in our ancient history wing. Why don't you wait here? I'll go grab a book on that.
Great.
And see what I can find. She walks away. And comes back later, just a few minutes later, with a very, very old-looking sort of tome.
I'm like, great. This is gonna take a minute.
And sorts to go through it with you. You guys spend several hours breaking through it, and she finds a few other books to sort of help translate it, because this is so old it actually is,
It's
requires
like,
some work.
While all this is going on, I'm not much help with this. I'm just going to be a little paranoid and look around and see if anybody's watching us or paying attention to us while we're doing this.
Great. Make an insight check for me, please.
Yeah, I'm not really
Well,
good at
perception, actually.
that. Okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
16.
16.
Yeah.
Yes, there are people watching. You've heard rumors that this place is like Demir Central. Like, they don't actually have an official guild place, but if they did,
It would be a library.
it would be here. So, no one admits to being Demir, but they're all around. And you're definitely being observed.
I will gently and quietly relate this to my guildmate and explain that any particular discoveries or exclamations you might want to keep to yourself until we're here, until we leave.
Well, good news is, I guess in like my cleric pack, I probably have like papers
You do.
and like
You
ink.
do.
Yes, so like we can write down what we need,
Okay.
Yeah.
and rather than like saying it loudly,
We'll
or
take
whatnot,
reasonable precautions, which are probably useless against the Demir, but yes, we'll take them anyway.
After
Scribe.
researching a bit, and basically based on her high roll and your help, you found a few other pieces of information. It was said that the Mosel Pearl was built above a white crystal dungeon called the Bane Warrens. Just this massive crystalline dungeon that descended deep below the ground. And some thousands of years ago, some unknown event corrupted the Bane Warrens, turning them to a black crystal. And the Bane Warrens. And jutting them up out of the earth.
Oh boy.
And that was supposed to have happened a very, very long time ago. But that's basically what you were even able to find. And the Mosel Pearl is supposed to be like a fortress that sits atop the Bane Warrens that originally sat on it when it was underground, and now maybe it's up in the air. It's supposed to have been destroyed thousands of years ago. So,
Did we find out what the priest who...
does this ring a bell, by the way? Anything? Remember last game there was a giant crystal structure.
Right, big,
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Did they mention to which god or entity or confluence of magic that the priest who lived in the Bane Warren or the Mosel Pearl worshipped or was faithful to?
Sort of. You would really need a religion roll for that, and your friend doesn't really have that sort of expertise, but you
Luckily,
might.
I do.
Okay, well, go ahead and make
Yeah,
a
I was
roll.
about to say, as a cleric,
Well,
I
do you
don't
want
have-
to?
14. I would assume she.
Why don't
assists
you
me.
just roll with advantage, and he will help?
I don't have religion.
Oh, you don't?
actually, so
Okay,
Why don't
well
you
then-
help me then? So
I'm just gonna go with that because you actually need the knowledge for this.
I'll
roll, I
guide
assume.
myself too.
Okay, sounds good.
So
Things
17.
really, really
17.
hard.
And do you want me to roll again since advantage, right?
No,
since
no,
your help she's
it's all
helping?
good.
Okay.
Dinar belonged to an ancient religious order called the Keepers of the Accord.
And this was before the Guild Pact?
Yep. And you know that this sect believed that all the evils in the world were simply respawn or move to another vessel if they're destroyed. So basically, evils exist as things in the world, sometimes
sick.
called banes. And if they were destroyed, that quantum of evil would reform or move somewhere else, go somewhere else to cause problems. So
Basically, they're saying evil can't be destroyed, you can only make it change form.
yes. The world soul necessitates a balance. That was their belief. And therefore, the only way to stop evil is to contain it.
Wow, that's a thing.
Yeah.
We're
Is that
gonna-
about all that we can find?
We're
Since we
gonna
probably
roll.
want to scoot out of here without talking about our discoveries.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, she asked you to help get information for the research, what happened, and
Yeah, I tell her enough to help guide us to get like the different books, but I'm talking about like we definitely don't want to have a conversation about what was found in the books when we're clearly being watched.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So
She it's good to see you. It was nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Let me know if I can be helpful.
okay, well, thank you so much. This has been very helpful.
And you guys head out. And I think, was there any other scenes we're gonna run the circus? Was there anything over there with Vola and Sargor, or are we done?
Is there anything in the Is It League's library that would tell us about the kind of chaos magic that would displace this much Earth and something about
You don't have those
crystals?
details yet,
Okay.
so it wouldn't be helpful to you, But you could do some research on the creature if you wanted to. In the libraries.
Sure.
And I think I'm pretty much good until you want to run the scene where we all get back together
Yeah,
at
no,
the
I'm good.
mansion.
Or that's next after their thing.
Sure. I think the Is It League should be fantastically interested in elementals.
Yes. Go ahead
Imagine
and make me an Arcana roll as your research.
You want to do it?
18.
18. Yeah, you are able to dig through some of the older texts. Spriggans were seen by some law mages as pests, and they sort of said to have disappeared thousands of years ago, during no longer being seen after something called the sealing. And you know that they carry a non-magical piece of ore or gem that, if they spend enough time with, they imbue a little bit of innate magic into it. They're said to affect probability and chaos, and there's this ancient myth among miners that they were good luck. Okay. And with that,
Yeah.
I want to just do the circus. So you guys have, it's very well attended. Is anyone else attending, by the way?
I will be attending the circus.
Okay. Anyone
No.
else? No? Voda? Will you be going? You know about it because he's going.
Sure.
Okay.
So
you have a great audience tonight. You see some of your recent companions in the audience. And this is not meant to be like a heavy performance night. It's more a chance for, as I mentioned, a chance for like storytelling and that sort of thing. There were some folks who presented who talked about all the lost and the people that died due to the recent attacks, and they sort of cheered them and like, remember that time where they juggled 10 heads at once and they tight-roped off over a bridge of chains over like a chasm of knives, and they
Pours
sort of
them out for them.
recount all the people that died. It seems like the recent attacks did kill a number of members of Rakdos, who were sort of celebrated tonight. Not a lot, but maybe like 5 or 6.
Still somebody's ideas.
And then it is your turn. So please tell me about your performance.
So I got tied up and you threw knives at me?
I'll start. I guess it'll start. I bring her out on a leash, and she's got like a blindfold on her, and then from there I put her in the middle, and I do some artistic dancing around her. Eventually pull out blades and kind of swing them around, and I juggle them.
Let's start with a performance check there.
Okay.
Do you want to act any given way, like you're scared? Do you want to affect any demeanor?
No, I'm like really excited.
Okay.
My,
I just don't know if you're acting or playing a role, or you're just sort
Notice
of...
her
I said
control
for
of the
everything-
kinodynamics
For me,
of her
everything is
knives.
childlike glee. So I'm very excited about the whole thing.
Okay.
See if I don't kill her.
Please don't kill me.
18.
Okay, your performance, her blade work is spectacular. It is amazing as she dashes around. She hasn't affected her yet. She's just sort of standing there, like in anticipation, blindfolded while she does this. She does a few like knives, like just over her head or just below, and it's very, very well controlled. So the crowd oohs and ahs, and they're very excited. You're sort of building them to a crescendo.
I guess it's a good thing I'm here. I can help put my sister back together if something goes wrong.
So then I
Oswissa would not approve.
And then I start talking about the battles that we had, and I start talking about slaying goblins. And over the course of slaying these goblins, and I cut off her blindfold, and then she starts moving some more. So I'm still like swinging swords around her, but she's dodging everything.
Woo!
And then finally, like I kick her against a wall, and you do take a good kick.
Make me a performance check.
Right. How do I do that?
You roll die 20.
Okay.
That die 20 is almost always what you roll for almost anything in this game.
I knew.
Yeah, no.
It's okay.
Start on.
So there's performance on the first page.
Yeah, and those are skills. So whenever I say make a roll,
Performance
most of
plus
the time
one.
they're there.
Yeah, you and I are not terribly useful. In
13.
combat
Okay,
situations.
so you, I mean, it's nowhere near as well acted as her, but you react well. You know how you've been taught how to take a kick very well, and so you sort of dodge, and it's very theatric. And go ahead.
And then she goes to the wall, and then final piece is and then we slayed all the goblins. And I take like 6 different daggers and go, and they all like land all around her head.
Okay, make me some attack rolls.
And if you succeed, you don't hit her.
Right.
I will give you advantage
Yeah,
because of your
that's
good
worse.
performance.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. We'll say you do 5, and you have advantage on this.
I have to make all 5.
Just do it.
You could roll 2 dice at a time.
You could take it even if I hit
They're
you.
blood sports.
You'll be fine.
I'm gonna do it.
22,
Okay.
19.
Okay. So you roll with advantage. So roll twice, and then. So
Well, I mean, if it's a success, you move on to the next
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, who cares? You don't need to roll twice if you don't need advantage.
So what's the hit then?
Just give me your numbers.
Hold on. Let's
Yeah,
hit
just
this
roll
one.
by
Yeah,
20
roll
and give
twice
me the
then.
best. So let's just make this easy here.
So I succeeded once.
Yes.
God.
25.
Okay.
Succeeded twice. 18.
Okay.
24.
Good.
I want you to roll from now
One
on.
last one.
Natural 20.
Fantastic.
Alright.
Okay.
Does my
So you
sister
see
have
with-
all her ears?
Yes. With just expert grace, she pulls out 5 daggers and just surrounds her, and it's like a perfectly pinned end, like it's less than an inch away from each side. And then finally, as she's turning her head for the last one, because looks like it was about to hit her right in the face, she turns her head and it lands right here below her, just below her chin, almost perfectly where she turned her head, like she could read her mind. And it is an amazing performance. The crowd goes wild. And they start cheering your names.
Do we maybe
Are they throwing money?
Yes, they are. You
do we
each
maybe
get...
get any like props from or isn't the whole point of us performing like props from Rakdos?
He's not here, unfortunately.
But, like,
he doesn't come out
He
to
maybe
hang out.
hear about this.
He
Spirit
might,
is around.
but this is such a great performance. You are each going to get 2 points of reputation among the Rakdos.
Nice.
Where does that go?
Where do we keep that?
On the secondary page, like the
There, one you were writing your background.
right
stuff
there, it
on.
should be.
Yeah.
I'll put it in
So you
there.
should have 3 points of Rakdos.
Yeah, so I think that makes them the first level, whatever it is.
It does.
What is it called? Rakdos what?
Reputation.
Later.
So you each have 3 points of Rakdos reputation. All right, so it's very good.
Hold on,
Overall,
I don't give a damn about my reputation.
Your Rakdos extras.
can you roll 2d4 for me, please?
There, Rakdos.
Both
Actually,
of
3
them?
die4.
What?
What?
Both of them?
No, just
Uh,
her.
at 10, they become Rakdos sideshow acts. And you could also at 10 become a Blood Witch.
2,
Ooh, what does that do?
That beats the shit out of me.
6,
I do have some secret destiny I need to fulfill that
7.
I don't know.
7.
total.
Go ahead and roll for me, please. Die
What?
20.
12.
Okay, so you get 7 Xenos, which are like gold coins, and about, what is it, 12 Zibs, which are like silvers. So you can split that up amongst you.
You hungry?
Wait, what are the money?
Xenos are like gold coins, and Zibs
Oh,
are,
six,
I'm not quite sure what how their breakdown goes. I need to look that up. But
So let's just split it now.
Okay.
So take 6 gold pieces, and then the other one is
6 Zibs, and I think those are silver pieces.
okay.
And in your performance, you should take the larger share, probably.
We'll split it. I always split it with her. She's putting her life on the line.
Okay.
Because you're
So,
that good.
Well, anyway, it's a very enjoyable night. You all have
Take
fun. No
6
one
gold
dies in your
and
group,
6 silver
and
pieces.
there's no collapses or horrible calamities. So
No raging headache.
exactly. Well, you probably have that still. you know.
We could do the meeting after it at night if you want. Or you
No,
wanna do
they're
this thing.
too tired.
And drunk.
And drunk. However, the next morning, you Vola
Yes.
get at your location, the place where you stay, a messenger boy human knocks at your door.
Yes.
Hello, are you Zola?
Bola.
I meant Vola. Oh, Vola. Sorry. Sorry.
There you are. I have a message for you.
I have a message for you.
Oh, we can act on
Where is this? Where's the show?
Next morning.
Next morning.
Next morning. Oh, just real quick. I know we've already done it, but I thank you all
Thank
for
you.
coming after the show.
Not a problem. I came so I could help
What?
stitch
And then
my
wrap this
sister's ear back on if she lost it.
Thanks.
And throughout the morning, each of you get a similar
gonna hold it up on the screen real quick and then
scroll.
So you're not a human, right? You're like a.
Darko.
Can you read it aloud?
Sure.
That's cool.
Because everyone gets a similar scroll throughout the morning.
Oh, everybody gets the same thing.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Dear Vola, I would like to formally invite you to a celebratory dinner this evening for the part that you played in the rescue, in all caps or something. Rescue of my daughter Surya. My residence, the Silver Corona, is on the northern side of Zun at 7. Dinner will be served at 7 o'clock. With great respect, Caliphus Gyre Prime?
Gyre
Gyre
Prime.
Prime.
Huh.
So we all get one of these?
Yes.
Am I familiar with this name? I know we like
You can
rescued
make
the
me an
person.
Arcana check if you'd like.
Sure. Let me. Because I'm like, okay, I remember we saved this person, but clearly they have some sort of rank.
How do you know?
Okay, well, this is gonna be a fun Arcana check. Yeah, no. That's
idea.
an 8.
No idea at all.
Yeah.
We know it's related to Surya, who you know.
Yeah.
She was the alchemist, the Vidalcan alchemist who you guys rescued.
Yeah.
so-
Probably one of the people that I healed.
Well, I'm just like, well, okay, she comes from a family.
You know who Surya is?
It's the
No.
person I healed in the bar.
Yeah, you carried her out on your back.
Oh.
You rescued her, so
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I was trying to see if I knew her family outside of rescuing her, and
You don't.
apparently I don't.
You don't.
Yeah.
You all get one
This
too.
comes to all of us?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take
Where
a
do
check.
they
I'm
bring
gonna
it to us?
get destroyed, but
They bring it to wherever you had crashed last night after the party, like basically your main troop
Just kinda-
encampment.
Tucked it into
So they want
like our outfits.
I'll
Dance floor.
see if I can figure out who this person is and
Make me a Arcana check.
15.
Well, the name,
For the record. you drink more
and
than I
based on the
do. You always
guessing,
seem
because
like
the person is
smoking
obviously
some
Vidalcan,
weird substances.
and the term Gyre Prime, you
Probably Simic.
think it's probably Simic. A Simic Biomancer, but that's just a guess. Like, you don't actually know them.
Right.
That's based on the context clues.
But the family is not so well known or powerful or wealthy that I would know with the 15.
not offhand, no.
All right.
But I might.
You might. Make me an Arcana check, please. You can actually make it with advantage.
Do I need to after a 16?
Yes.
16 and a 14.
14 total? 16 total?
16.
Okay, yeah. You have the same information, but you have a little bit more. The way that their structure is set up in the Simic is similar to yours, and a Gyre Prime would be the person who heads one of their major research projects. So they call their person the Prime. Like a Prime Investigator would be. So the person who leads the Gyre, it's not a project, it's a clade. The Gyre Clade would be the Gyre Prime.
Oh, they're Mexicans.
All right. Any other questions?
Should we all be rolling for?
You don't have to. If you want to, you can.
Yeah. You might have read about them in somewhere.
Probably not, though. I'm from a rat farm, and then I went to a ranch, so I probably don't read a lot of books. But I do like talking to people. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
17. Well, yeah, you struck up some conversations with Surya while she was around, and you were trying to escape together. And she mentioned her father was a powerful biomancer, and that he would fix her leg when she got back, even if it was really, really hurt.
What was Surya's race?
She was a Vidalcan.
Falcon.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a alchemist. Is there?
Okay.
Would there be anything else that I would know?
Not really.
Okay.
You just don't have the context for
Yeah.
more research. There.
She was carrying a bag of destruction?
No, she had an alchemist bag.
Oh.
She mentioned that she did not have. It was taken from her. She lost it. However, she said there was a lot of interesting things in there that could have helped you. That you could have gotten it.
Interesting things. All right.
Did I have the chance to talk to him outside of the library, or was I running late going, oh crap, like,
Him?
I've got to get
Yeah.
to the show, yeah.
And you have a chance to talk to him today, too, if you'd like. I mean,
Yeah.
this is not till a little bit later in the day, so...
Yeah.
So the reason I mentioned that meeting was the whole trying to get us all together again. But if this thing is going to
Taken
serve
care
that
of.
purpose, yes, off you go.
Can I use history to determine if I know Caliphus?
Sure.
19.
I mean, yeah, it's a name you've heard.
I think deeply if they've ever maybe been to a show or something.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But
Not those kind of
other
people.
members of the Simic have mostly complaining about him because he leads one of the more important clades.
So this is a Simic person.
Yes.
Okay. And are they like, do I know if they're like an uppity, kind of snooty,
Never been to a show.
upper class person?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
That's
that
all.
would be your
We used to
context
be on
for
our
it.
best behavior for this time.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's it.
Should
I'm
we
just
clean
trying
all the
to.
blood
You
off
guys
of
don't
us
have to-
before
I'm just trying to gauge what I should wear.
How to dress
I'll
for
wear the
dinner.
good chainmail.
How to wear the most
I will
obnoxiously
bathe the
sexy,
blood off of
horrible
me.
thing like I could think of. Like
Do it.
like super low class trash. That's what I'm wearing.
This is why we get along.
Okay, so what time is it anyway? Okay, so it is. Let's say the day goes on. Is there anything else anybody wants to do today?
Let's have a quick chat and
Okay,
then get.
go ahead.
So I guess part of me thinking, based on the information that we got, would it be outside of the Grohl to try to go after something this powerful?
I don't see why not.
Like,
Oh, you're talking about the Bane Warrens.
yes.
Oh, you're talking to me or each other?
To
Each other, yeah.
Yeah.
So I suspect what we're going to need to do, if we want to find out what's behind this, is find the Mosul Pearl
Yeah.
and figure out what's going on below it and what's getting released. Because if the legends are true, and there really was, there's got to be some truth to it,
Corruption.
right? And if they put evil, whatever that means, stored it somewhere, if it's getting loose, there's going to be problems for
Yes.
everyone, for all of Ravnica, right? So we should probably figure out what the hell's going on, and we should probably keep it a little quiet for now.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, do we tell everyone else about the Mosul Pearl and the Bane Warrens? Perhaps we try to see if they want to help us figure out what happened, and then we can divulge more information.
Yes, I think that makes sense. Like, I don't think, because all we have is this right now, let's not spread it yet.
I suspect the Vidalcan will help us out of a sense of curiosity.
A powerful biomancer would probably know something about magic that was pervasive and destructive that his daughter was caught up with.
Yeah.
I assume you caught up to them.
Well,
They're walking to
or
dinner.
technically.
Sure, we'll all.
They're walking to dinner and they
I
start.
got the invite. I got the invite.
Do you want to go?
No,
to
but they're
No.
not there yet.
Yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah.
We're not there yet.
But really, what I'm actually saying is,
I love her.
I'm basically saying the Vidalcan will help us
And then he walks up.
because he's curious as shit. Vola will help us because she just wants to kill shit.
Rich kisses are the best kisses.
I don't know about the other two. What about your sister?
Rakdos likes party, and I'm curious all the time.
And I don't know about the other one.
I mean, she does like to stab things.
So the question remains: do we tell them everything we know about the Mosul Pearl and the Bane Warrens?
I don't think we know all that much yet. So I think we should gather more information before we tell anyone anything.
Agreed. So let's go see what our friend, the Biomancer, has to tell us at dinner.
Great. Who arrives first?
I do.
Okay. You arrive at this. You were not quite expecting this place to be so fancy. It is this estate, sort of. It looks like it's almost grown out of the street. It's very organic looking, sort of circular. It's the Zonat is here in, where is it?
It's 7.
Is it 7?
Oh, it was 7.
It said 7 in the. It said Zonat 7.
Did it?
Yeah.
There is no 7. So that's a
There's
mistake.
Zonat 7 is not like.
Oh no, it's the name is Zonat 7.
And
yes,
it was at 7
but it's
o'clock.
it's one of the precincts, and I don't remember which one.
That's okay.
It's
If you remember, just let us know.
You can't miss it because it's a giant lake. It's right next to the blister coils.
Is this a giant lake?
No.
I would know where the blister coils are.
Yeah, it's right next to the blister coils.
I've got
I think
a
it's this
sweetie-
area right there.
I've got a sweetie at the blister coils.
So yeah, it's right next to the blister coils. The blister
That's a
coils, the
phrase.
water, the
There it
excess
is.
wastewater from the blister coils sort of runs into the Zonat 7.
There's an ointment for it.
It
don't
is
worry.
this giant, almost like lake, except you know that it descends all the way to Ravnica's underground oceans. So it's it goes down miles, and this is where the Simic are based. This Zonat 7. Now most of them have labs that are in the water, and there's like also a guild sort of main gathering water area that's just below the water that you can descend into. His is above the water on a sort of cliff that basically overlooks the rest of the Zonat. And as you enter it, you knock on the door, and the door opens, and there is a little homunculus sort of looking up at you with this little eye. Unlike most of them, this one seems to have a little mouth. And
What are they?
Homunculus. It's like a little
construct.
blue clay-looking thing
It's
that
a
walks around and moves. And
He's a construct. He's an effective magic. He does simple things.
the Simic, Azorius,
I'll find a
and
picture.
the Izzet and other groups tend to like them and keep them as servants.
The insurance rates are low. When you burn one down, you just make a new one.
So it's just almost like a
Killing
head. It
sentient
just has this
things.
big eye on it, and most of them don't have mouths. They speak telepathically. This one does have a mouth. And it's this little body.
That's like that.
It's
What's
dressed
the thing?
almost
Footed?
like a butler.
I'm just picturing a little blue thing dressed like a butler.
It's not that little. It's like 4 feet tall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
fairly large.
Oh, I always thought they were like little tiny cat-like things.
Nope.
No, this one's bigger.
Yeah.
It
House elves.
looks up at you. It goes, me! And you hear in your voice, welcome to Silver Corona. How may I assist you? Hear in your head.
I'm here for dinner.
And it starts to lead you inside. Brings you to a little waiting area. Points at...
It's likely that we travel together.
Okay, great. So both of you then. Lead you to this place is very tasteful. It's very Vidalcan. It is everything is in its place and clean. It is very well swept and cared for. There's not a lot of excess sort of stuff, if that makes sense. It's very Spartan. But there is in the room it's like a little waiting area. There's a small table with glasses of wine on it. Sort of bows and walks back out.
Obeisances.
I suppose Veska and I will.
Yeah.
Zika.
Okay.
Veska's fine.
You arrive,
Yeah,
and
we're
a
gonna
similar
get
thing happens to you. In the meantime, and you'll enter in a second, a older-looking Vidalcan man comes in, says, "Greetings, greetings. I'm Caliphus. It's great. He's wearing white robes. Look very expensive, and sort of walks over to you. It's great to meet you. Are you Vola?
Yes.
Oh, it's wonderful to meet you. I'm so glad you could make it. I'm so
Thanks
glad you
for
could make it.
inviting us.
Of course, of course. I'm Caliphus, and your name?
Sargor.
Sargor.
I come to you seeking knowledge.
Well, you're very welcome.
Look like
And Surya said great things about you both.
Oh. I was picturing
A brave
more.
girl.
There's the homunculus.
Thank you.
I was picturing more the animated things from Despicable.
Sort of.
These guys have arms and legs.
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
They're a little bit
God.
more humanoid.
And this is a baby one.
So
Little
you both
kid
arrive
one.
and
So
are
there's
let
grown-up
in. You
ones, too.
see by this homunculus, as you're let in, he looks at the thing and says, "Thank you, Squeaky." Sort of nods.
He actually calls it Squeaky.
Yeah, leaves.
No,
And
What is it with the little creatures?
I like little Squeaky.
Yeah.
You guys are let in as well. That you see both of them, and they are having drinks with Caliphus. He says, "Welcome, please." Points to the wine.
Thank you.
Caliphus.
Lucius Markov.
Lucius, do you
How are
shake his hand?
Of course.
And
Veska.
Caliphus. Veska, it's great to meet you. Thank you both for healing my daughter. I very much appreciate it.
No problem.
And you have a minute to gather, and finally the Rakdos show up, yes? Or are you fashionably late?
We are fashionably late.
Okay. So
Are
guys
you
have
already sauced?
you guys have a few minutes to speak then.
Yep.
So you all have a few minutes to speak.
I feel like we'd be a little sauce, but not that sauce because I want to drink the expensive shit we're gonna be offering.
Good call.
There you go.
I would definitely agree with that.
we are pleasantly sauced.
And I'm just thinking in the back of my head, this should be interesting. I wonder what my sister's gonna do tonight.
So finally, you are both let in. Can you describe how you're dressed?
I washed
You go
most of the
first.
blood off of myself.
Good.
But I'm still wearing my tooth necklace and my bones.
Yeah, what do you look like? I'm curious.
The
Do
menu.
you want a little overview?
Sure. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I like the mini, but
Oh, like the mini? Okay. Let me see it.
so she's got like black dreads with some green in them.
And you're half elven, elven.
Elvin.
We're deaf.
You're both
and
elven.
My
Oh, Def
eyes
Karn, right.
are black and green.
Mhm.
I've got my black claws. Tooth necklace. I've got some booby leather armor on.
Booby leather armor?
Yeah, I mean she's cleavage
Okay.
city.
Okay.
So marginally effective leather armor.
I pretty much own this outfit in real life,
There you go.
and always a little blood splattered and always a little hungover.
Okay.
So
I'm like, can I paint your face a little before we get there for this one?
as long as it's not the vampire face paint.
No, it's like carnival, like black and red. Like
This
black
reminds you of
paint.
growing up in the among the Devkaran. It's a little bit, and you've never seen a human do it, but Devkaran elves often paint their faces in what are called mood marks,
Yeah.
which are supposed to be like reactive paint that sort of reacts to your mood. So it's sort of reminding you of home a little bit.
I feel like I would be into that. Yeah,
Cool.
except like with blood now.
Like I'm doing like little black marks on your cheeks and like red by your eyes up the
Sounds
top.
good.
And
And
almost-
of course, next to her, I look complete. It's like they see the similar face, but I'm wearing like my finest Orzhov vestments, have like silver hair, and like
Lawful elf
the
chaos.
same green eyes.
Do I maybe have some silver root showing? Like have I dyed my hair to fit in with Rakdos?
Sure.
I'm gonna have red streaks that are coming straight down the eyes, and then black marks here like teeth. I'm wearing like black leather harnesses that are like have spikes on them and stuff. A lot of skin revealing. normally I'm like in a black cloak, so that's what you've been seeing in the past. But like I'm decked out for this, and I'm wearing like a helmet that has horns on it.
That's because of last night, isn't it?
I need to go get that and make you wear
Basically,
it.
Oh,
basically like
Yes.
this.
Definitely. Well, actually, Rakdos people do that a lot.
Okay, it was just
Yeah.
funny.
Ixava, the Blood
Horns?
Witch, has like a giant horn
Yep.
thing on.
Anyone else want to describe, or are you?
Oh, impeccably dressed and highly polished ornamental armor.
I'm in the best set of armor I've got.
It's kind of the only set of armor you got,
Right.
but it's, you know,
Well, there is the light armor for light mercenary wear.
they're true.
I've chosen my uniform lab coat.
Okay. So you just look like you wandered out of the lab.
No,
No,
uniform
a
like
uniform lab coat. This is for special occasions, research halls, conferences.
it's like the Star Trek dress uniforms.
Got it. It's like the doctors wear when they lobby, right? Okay, great.
Nice.
I'm not
You
even,
have a
I'm not
little
even
name
wearing my
tag?
armor.
I'm just picturing
my
those like
staff,
half frock
'cause I
coat
wanted this
Star Trek
ridiculous outfit to show off.
dress armor,
You're not wearing
dress
armor?
uniform
I'm not wearing
things.
my armor.
Okay.
They are kind of like dresses.
So, Caliphus, like I mentioned, is a taller Vidalcan, older. His blue skin it's like a royal blue. It's slightly mottled because he's an older gentleman. You know Vidalcan lived a long time, by the way. He sort of like looks a little bit askance at what you were both wearing. It's like, oh, did you come from a show?
Is there a problem, sir?
No, you're very welcome. I'm Caliphus.
Hi, I'm Zalora.
Ah, okay. Well,
Mixed
just
Mighty.
be careful. I don't want
Okay.
you
This
to
is,
hurt anybody.
this is my partner, friend, guest.
Alinea.
It's great. I'm Caliphus. It's
Nice
great
to
to
meet
meet you both. I've heard so many wonderful things.
Very
What an
excited about this
eclectic
party.
group.
Where is your daughter?
Oh yes, I will tell you. Well, first I have a little bit of intro. Let me lead you into the foyer. He takes you all. Please bring your drinks, and leads you into from the reception area into like an open sort of large dining room. There's like a round table over there on the side, but it's if you descend a set of steps, and if you just imagine like a large glass wall that sort of overlooks the Zonot and the sunset. It's like this is a nice, just sort of beautiful sort of
It's like,
receiving
wait a
room.
second.
It says, "This is welcome to my home." It's named for the glass. It sort of has a special tint, but you're not sure what it is. But the sun setting has sort of like a silver glint to it.
Do I
so it's
feel
especially treated
pain?
glass.
Or
No.
is the glass protecting us?
It's no, it's dim enough and it's sunset that
Okay.
you're fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Too much light. Headaches.
No.
I think it's hilarious that the elves suffer more penalties from bright daylight than the vampire. But anyway,
Yeah.
But this is a beautiful place, and this guy's obviously loaded. Both those things are true. So he says, well, first I want to thank you all. The way you rescued Surya, she would have been in a lot of trouble without you, and she especially appreciated your help, Vola. I mean, you carried her to safety. I don't know how she would have gotten out of there without you. She so admired your form, and because of her mangled legs, she asked me to do what I could. So, of course, I did. Come on out, daughter. And so Surya walks out. I give you Ravnica's first crab tar. And so you see her start to walk out, and she sort of walks sideways into the room. She looks like she did before. Her skin, her blue skin, is a little bit mottled with purple. And as it descends, she's much taller because it descends into, like where her waist stops, it's sort of a giant purple crab body with legs coming down. And she looks super excited. She's like, what do you think? So I try to, I mean, obviously we don't work in horses, but, you know, I can carry things now much more easily.
I will walk across to her, give her a hug, and say, "You look lovely, dear."
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
It is quite a stunning look.
Thanks, I appreciate it. My father we've been working on it for the last few days. I was going through the treatments to become a hybrid prior, but this is sort of
Sped
helped
it
me.
up.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And now I can walk. She sort of does this little dance. She sort of stumbles a little bit. I'm still getting used to it a little bit.
Having more legs, probably more to learn.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lot to think about.
I whisper in your ear. I thought we were the sideshow.
I feel like I'm pretty excited about it
Oh,
because
gotta get a roll
Rakdos
of
is
that.
like,
Yeah, I'm gonna. If
Pretty
I hear that, I'm
innocent.
gonna kick you.
Fail.
Well, that's
Make a
good.
perception
just kick her
check.
in the shin.
I don't. I don't want to
Do you
know.
have a problem with hybrids?
And I'll kick you though and say,
No.
leave it alone. Now. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
I'm excited too. It's pretty great. I don't really fall. It's very stable, and I'm really fast. He sort of scuttles across the room sideways, like multiple times.
I'm just picturing Zoidberg. At this
That's
point.
exactly that.
Anyway. I'm picturing her talking now like Zoidberg. God damn it.
I can't do that, so I'm not going to.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so it's great to see you all. We're gonna, Caliphus says, sweetie, would you go check on dinner? And she goes, of course, and scuttles out of the room.
Away.
Scuttles.
Yes, scuttles.
I love that word.
He looks over to you. I have a sort of mission I want to talk with you about. I would really appreciate if you would take her with you, if you choose to take it up. I think it would really do a lot of good for her, and she really needs to grow into this new form a little bit. So if you don't mind, but I have something I'd like to hire you all for.
what is...
Well, let's hear it.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Well, maybe over dinner I'll tell you.
Then let's do that.
Should we speaking of dinner? Should we order?
Speaking of dinner, what do you guys want? What do we want to order? Like, out of game.
Godzilla.
Yeah, we should take care of that.
We'll take care of ordering, but
Yeah, sorry folks, the
Chinese-
boring part.
Chinese,
I like
Thai-
Chinese. Chinese is fine.
Chinese is fine for me. Come on about Val.
Who has dietary requirements?
Keto.
So
So
what does that
I'm
mean?
defrosting that chicken. Though.
Oh, okay,
It's just-
all right.
I'm fine with
Oh,
making
you're
like
good.
taco stuff. Like no worries.
Okay, well then we'll get Chinese, and I'll get the menu while we keep going with the game.
Okay,
If
great.
you want to defrost that chicken for me, that'd be great.
In a second.
I'm good with Chinese.
Great. Great.
However, one of your mouthpieces is leaving right now.
That's
In the middle
okay.
of this conversation.
No problem.
So
You
you're
are.
saying that you want us to take her and we get paid for it?
Uh huh. I'll tell you about it over dinner.
All right.
Well, I suspect you'll be very interested.
All right.
Bring the notepad.
With that, do you have any questions for him before we get started? It seems like dinner will be imminent.
I asked him if he had any magical insights about the nature of the power that caused displacement.
You mean the damage to that section of the city?
I can order online.
I don't. My understanding it was gruel magic. It's not something I've really been looking into.
What's his race? Again?
He's a Vidalcan.
He's the doctor.
He's like me.
Okay.
Blue.
Is there anything that we should be asking someone who seems like they're of a certain class? Like
I mean,
how we can get ahead by knowing him, kind of stuff.
Sure. You could ask him maybe to become a patron if you're
Yeah,
interested in that, or maybe he's interested in coming to see you perform.
Probably not, but anyway, I can get some money out of this dude, right?
You think like a good practice person.
I'm trying. So
Yeah.
how would I do that?
Well, what do you want to sort of? You want to schmooze him a little bit.
Yeah,
Ask him.
exactly.
Think of what you'd ask
So
him.
make a persuasion check to sort of, get him to get on his good side, basically.
Okay.
Persuasion is... Yes. So you don't get any extra bonuses in it, so you're not
Okay.
actually particularly good at it, but you could try.
But
The problem is if you fail... then
So you
sometimes-
roll a die 20, and you add that number.
No.
No numbers.
You?
Yeah.
The number 0.
Yeah, she doesn't have
Nine.
anything.
What'd you get?
9.
You try, but he's not really receptive. You find Vidalcan to be extremely cold.
Vulcans.
Basically.
All right.
So,
Like, mutant
based on the
Vulcans.
research we were doing in the library the other day, do I feel like he would be a person to like maybe prod some for information
I'll order
about
it online,
the
so hold on.
Mosul Pearl?
Possibly. You could talk to him about it. You don't know enough about his situation to know what he knows and doesn't know.
I'm just trying to think like the background of it. Is it more Silesian based?
It doesn't
or...
seem like something the Simic would be particularly
Oh,
interested
actually,
in.
it was okay. So,
This was before the
guilds
Guild
even
pacts,
came together. So,
pact thing.
Yep, the Guild Pact. It was before the Guild Pact.
What was?
The
Mosul-
Bangworms. What we were talking about, what we were researching earlier, the Mosul Pearl.
So we shared
I
that with everyone?
No.
Okay.
You just asked me a
I was
question.
just
Oh, okay.
more asking, like, based on our research.
Gotcha.
Do I feel like he would be a person to even bother trying to ask?
If they live a very, very long time, well, how long do they live? Like,
A few hundred years.
oh, I mean,
We're talking about
Whereas-
thousands of years, though.
But I'm saying, like, it is within his generational memory. You know, like maybe great grandpa knew something.
No more
But-
than that.
No, more than that. All right.
My elf clan would be more likely to know something because we also live as long.
You also live a long time, yes.
Yeah. So, what was that?
Oh no, do we have to go now? Let's never go back to the rock farm.
Although I do think I should, you know, basically say, think about having, would you like to invest in Orzhov? We were helpful to you.
So you're
So
trying to
could
get
you be
him
helpful
to
to us?
bank with you? Is that your...
Yes.
Okay.
I will
Make
be
a per-
standing by to swoop in if she fails miserably.
Make a persuasion check for me, please.
Sure. 1 second. I think I can actually do that skill. Whether I can roll is another story.
Yeah.
And I can roll apparently, so +5 to that. So it's going to be a 22.
Yeah, so you talk about these new investment opportunities, and you know this new fund they're setting up, especially for external guilds. You know, highly wealthy people, it's like
High wealth individuals.
high wealth individuals,
Yes.
and that's supposed to have a higher rate of return and like very selectively well managed. And you're really selling it. And he seems very interested. I'd love to have more information. Perhaps you could. I'll give you the name of my accountant, and perhaps
Yes.
you can. Deliver to him. Thank you. This is really interesting. I'd love to hear more.
I will, as they're having this conversation, I will just come up to her and say one thing in her ear. Perhaps you should fund our expedition.
Especially if we're taking his daughter.
Since you've done so well in persuading him.
But then I'd have to tell him what our expedition is.
He's asking us to go.
Mead.
No, it.
With that, dinner is served. You are all
I wish I had
brought.
room.
That's at the dinner table. It is a very large table. It's circular, so you're all able to sit around in a circle. He and his daughter. Actually, his daughter sits next to you if she can. She seems to really like you. And
You should
she
both
seems
have-
so much happier and like better than last you saw her with her mangled leg. So she seems like she's doing like a lot better personality-wise. And you all have this delightful dinner. It's mostly seafood. Yeah.
Crab soup.
Yeah. Yeah. Simmer.
And the cannibalism.
Okay.
Maybe that's the segue into the expedition.
So
The
why
cannibalism.
don't you tell us a little more as during this lovely repast? Why don't you explain to us what it is you want us to do?
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
That's a great question. So after the incident occurred, I used some of my contacts among the investigators of the Azorius who were looking into the situation. I was able to get the name of the
Totally put on
warlord.
crab rangoon.
The name of the warlord who was responsible for the attack. It's a warlord Karog.
Yeah.
And he, using some sway among the Silesians and the Azorius who sort of patrolling the area, I think I was able to discover where they fled to after their loss at your hands when you slew so many of their tribe members. There's a location to the northeast, I believe they went, and I would, if you're interested, give you the location and a chance to avenge yourself against this warlord who so viciously attacked you all and so harmed my daughter. And you guys can make me insight checks if you'd
Yeah, I
like.
was about to say, he seems weird.
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, can I
4. Nope.
7
Okay.
insight?
Yes.
Okay, well,
You get advantage.
Oh,
12.
8 and
18.
8.
15.
Okay, so you both are the best students.
Which
of
is funny, though.
people. Yeah. And you know Vidal can tend to be very reserved. They show very little emotion. He is furious. He is very upset this entire thing happened. You can just divine that just by his just the way you see slight cracks appear in the glass he's drinking from. And he pushes it down as he's speaking. He's holding it in, but he is just very not happy with what has happened and wants to avenge himself on this person who dared hurt his daughter.
I'm guessing he didn't. What? Well, yeah.
All right. That sounds.
And I would
Like a
pay
gentleman.
you, of course, for the trouble. I will pay you 100 Xenos apiece. I think that's just more than fair, and pay for your expedition, of course.
Great. There will be some equipment required.
Of course, of course. We'll take this as long as it's minimal. But yes, I believe this should be a fairly straightforward trip. I wouldn't expect to take more than a couple days.
Well, of course, we'd have to confer, but I think odds are good. We'd be interested in this, given that we also were so viciously attacked.
Wonderful.
Are you going
Wonderful.
to crispy beef?
Excellent.
Yes.
I
Is it
really
really
appreciate that.
Do they make it really spicy?
Daughter, would you like to go with them?
I'm
She
gonna
says
ask
yes,
for spicy. I don't know
definitely.
if they normally
And that would be
do.
acceptable?
I'm,
Yes.
I'm hoping.
What
they
exactly,
do that way.
what sort of skills can your daughter provide? And I'll turn to her and address her directly. I mean,
Try
you know,
and
Sure,
I-
says
ask for
I'm trained as a
spicy
guardian.
food, they deliver, that's all I
What does
I-
that
I
mean?
can't guarantee it now.
Do you
like
know anything about the
crispy
bio?
beef?
The
So, I'm going to say times
you
two.
have no idea
Okay,
what it
great.
means. Are you asking?
I'm asking.
Oh.
I'm saying what can you
Oh,
please
she's
explain
a
what that
skilled
means?
fighter and guard.
Interesting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, she's finally attuned her body to be able to use it to the highest degree possible.
This new body she just was granted.
She says, "I know what I'm doing. I can manage.
Okay.
Really, it'll be fine. I'll be helpful."
You have to understand that we all take these risks, and the risk of bodily injury is great.
I understand. I'll be helpful.
I will turn to her father and say the same thing. You need to understand this, and we will do our best, but we cannot promise.
Sign this disclaimer.
I do
could
expect
see
you to take care of
popping
my
one out.
daughter.
Of course
However,
we will.
she is more than capable of holding her own.
Understood.
And several of you are healers, yes?
Yes.
Indeed.
I look at him and I say, I just want you to understand we're not babysitting her. She is a part of us. She will be treated equally.
I mean, she says, I couldn't, it wasn't very effective when you were escaping, obviously. I was pretty injured, but I can hold my own.
I can believe you.
All right.
I inquire as to the magic they used to transform her.
Yes, and he goes into great detail on that. He talks about, now you do not know a ton about biomancy. It's not really your area of expertise. But you understand some of the basics of it, of course, because it is a science. The way that Simic talks about magic is so different than the way you talk about magic, though. It's like its own sort of technobabble that's different from your technobabble. And so, while interesting, because he shows like a lot of interest in it, it doesn't seem like it's something that would translate well to you in your issue and the things you work on. But he does go into great detail about it. The hybridization process, how this is a certain type of crab called a vampire crab. It has nothing to do with vampires, just the manner of the crab, type of crab it is. And the unique properties of Vidalcan blood and how they are more similar to other crustaceans than humans are, for example.
And Vol and I are sitting here exactly like this.
Yeah. It is
watching this
awful,
conversation.
awful.
Does this mean she can? Normal Vidalcans can live submerged for up to an hour. Can she do more?
I'm not sure. It has not tested that aspect out yet.
Does her blood have any healing properties?
I mean, no more than anyone else's.
I'm sure it does.
Like the horseshoe crabs.
Me, I'm like feigning interest and seeing if I can pick up on anything that would be useful.
What color is her blood?
Not really.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
It's blue.
Yes! You know how much I love the blue creatures, though.
Alrighty then.
I'm very excited she's coming with us. I want to be her BFF.
I think slow your roll there, girly.
Hey,
Let's
I'm excited about everything.
let's
Everyth's a party.
let us have a conversation and confirm that we want to do this. I mean,
Of course. Well, I will leave you to your devices for a few minutes. I have to go prepare dessert. So,
I'm sorry,
Oh no!
if you have any questions, Suri will remain and can speak with her about this.
If you die, can we eat you?
I'm just gonna shake my head.
He leaves for a while, so if you guys want to talk about it.
All right. So we all don't know each other that well. I'm willing to do this because, quite frankly, I'm incredibly perturbed that someone would do this in my city.
We wanted to go against that warlord anyway. Now we have a fundant. expedition
have
for
fun
that.
for it. Agreed. Is anyone else completely on board, semi on board, or
Excitedly on board.
This looks like an excellent opportunity to conduct research.
Vola?
I'm on board. Kill things.
Party time.
I guess you are too, since you had the conversation about we're not babysitters.
Remember, we had that discussion about how killing things, you should always learn something when you kill something.
Yes.
I don't trust the Orzhov much, so you need to tell me what your intentions are.
My intentions are to protect the city.
What about your party members?
Well, you are helping me attain that goal, so yes.
Who are you employed by? Where do you come from again?
What do you mean? I have been more than upfront about my background. I'm a paladin of the Orzhov.
We look down at our robes
Well, if
going,
he's related to his aunt, and I'm technically related, and she's technically related, I feel like we can probably trust him.
Who's your aunt?
Do you guys have cash?
Oh, Lissa Markov.
Okay. I mean, before the end of the night.
I don't, but I can.
what?
Whatever. I with that.
Okay,
I'm in.
let me...
Just... I'm nervous, but I'm in.
Okay.
I'm gonna go order this.
But, yeah, Vola's already in, right?
Yeah, I'm already in.
Excellent.
All
Alright, so we're gonna do this thing.
Seriously, very excited. That's great. I am excited. We're gonna get them.
Actually,
We're gonna get them.
Tell us a little more about how you discovered where and who.
Yeah, I think he said he paid Azorius, or maybe it was Boros. I'm not sure. They were some sort of flyers doing scouting over the area after it collapsed, and there were patrols to the northeast, and he saw the remains of this tribe sort of head in that direction. So I don't know that we know exactly where they're encamped. We sort of know where they started and which way they went. I'm sure Vola can track them.
Will this be taking place in the Rubble Belt? I'm assuming we'll be entering the Rubble Belt.
Oh yes, it's all in the Rubble Belt. Absolutely.
Yeah, but more loss means more loss to break.
Oh, good lord. Alrighty then.
So, can I ask him about these,
He's not here. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
Surya right now.
Can I ask her about these, Vidalcan body modifications? Do these things only work on them? Or, like, can we get upgrades?
No, it works on other people. It works on elves and
Upgrade.
humans and Vidalcan mostly. Right, and if you wanted to become a hybrid, you could.
I'm so excited.
You'd probably have to join the Simic.
No.
I mean, it depends. He might be willing to take you on, especially, after what you did. It'd probably take some time. You'd have to maybe sign a contract.
I'm not gonna lie, that would make our show even better.
That's what I'm saying. You get, like, another arm for knife throwing.
I don't know if I
This
want
is
to do
amusing
it.
as
I would
well.
love for you to do it.
I'm
It
interested.
is something that's possible, though. I'm not sure. He doesn't just do it. It's a lot of work and effort and resources. But, I think it's something you
The pain.
work towards. Well, it's more a question of what's in it for,
Are you sure?
you'd have to
Because
agree
Should
to...
I bring this up after we
I
complete
think
this
that'd be the
task?
best time. I think so, yeah.
If there's suffering involved, she'll like it.
It is fairly painful. Usually they knock you out,
No!
but I guess he doesn't